who would know that Mickey Mouse was born in this building. This was Walt Disney's first official studio, the Laugh-O-Gram Studios. And Walt Disney, with $15,000 in cash, invested in Laugh-O-Gram Studios, which was incorporated in 1922. His studio was on the second floor on the western half of the building. He had 5 rooms.
I was just a kid, I played around old buildings, so I did this stuff all the time when I was young. Of course, I'm not so young anymore, but that's okay.
Now, see, this is what little kids should be doing. Thank you, Walt Disney. We're going. Shh, where did you go today? We went to the building at 31st and Forest.
This, above us was Disney's office, and we put the new floor, the new joists in, the new steel in, the new floor in, just to give us a base from which to work, and then give structural support to the sidewalls. Eventually, a little movie theater back here, 50-seat, show the cartoons that he made in this building, which are preserved, show documentaries and Ub Iwerks, Walt Disney, Hugh Herman, Rudolph Ising, the people that came out of this building and would end up following Walt to Hollywood, along with other friends of theirs from Kansas City, who had literally found the animation industry, at least the 20th century, cartoon animations from studios. Yeah. Well, I think the urgency was making sure this building wasn't gone. And how important is it? I think it's incredibly important. I think that this is an area of town that has got a lot of challenges ahead of it. And for years, Troost had a secondary meaning in our city. It was a dividing line. African Americans to the east, white people to the west. It was a horrible kind of a connotation, but really Troost is a great place. Lots of small businesses. But most importantly, I want a little kid walking down Troost Avenue who's heard nothing but bad things when they see buildings like this as the norm. I want them to get excited and enthusiastic and get some vision, because Walt Disney himself sat right up there because he couldn't pay a restaurant tab on the very spot in which we speak. This was an old restaurant. He owed him $60, and he couldn't get a meal, so he was upstairs eating a little can of beans, and he fed a mouse. He fed a mouse that would later be the real inspiration for the real Mickey Mouse in Hollywood.
I'm born and bred Kansas Citian and grew up with the Mickey Mouse Club and started watching Mickey Mouse Club in 1955. I didn't know this was here. None of my school teachers told me that this is where Walt Disney had his first official studio. This is where Mickey Mouse was born. Maybe they didn't know, but wouldn't that have been a terrific field event? Come to the site, make it real, make the dream come true.
Obviously, Mickey Mouse was a cartoon drawn in Hollywood, but there was a little bitty mouse, and the funny thing is, everybody was fascinated that Walt Disney was able to get a field mouse to come up on his desk, and they called him Mortimer. And when he closed his studio, when they left, he was concerned that the little mouse would come down to the restaurant looking for food, and the restaurant owner's cat would get him. So Walt Disney takes this little mouse and rescues him and takes him out to a field not too far from here.
Butch Rigby and a few of his colleagues created a not-for-profit organization called Thank You Walt Disney, and that was formed in 1994. This building was slated for demolition, and Butch, being the film aficionado that he is, knew that this is a very important part of Kansas City's history. So he worked with the city of Kansas City, Missouri, trying to save this building. This has an impact internationally, and I'm very, very thankful to Butch and his group for doing what they did. And I really look forward to the day that this is turned into a hands-on museum and will stabilize not only this building, but this edge of 31st and Troost, which from an historic standpoint, a broader standpoint, was a very important thoroughfare for Kansas City, Missouri.